Alrighty, welcome to another edition of PA High School Football Report. Big thank you to our sponsor, OSS Health, and we are, of course, powered by PennLive. Eric Epler alongside Dan Sostek. My apologies for the Kermit the Frog voice. It's getting worse. You stand outside watching football in the rain.
I sure love.
You win silly prizes.
Yeah,
Dan.
I sure love that we record these in person when you're sick. So,
I'm trying to stay straight. I'm trying not to really engage that much.
It's all right. Illness builds character, you know. So
I mean, you're vaccinated, right?
Yeah, vaccinated.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Not this year yet, but I'll get there.
Do we have to do it every year?
Yes.
Yeah, for flu shots.
Oh, I don't do flu shots.
You don't do flu shots?
No, and I very rarely get sick. This is the first time I was sick in about 3 years. But
you were sick last year. I think.
No, I had sniffles last year, but that's not full blown sick.
You have to do both each year because the vaccines are updated for the latest strain.
Well, I tell you what, like when I was like 15, my doc said, "Do you want the flu shot?" I said, "Do I have to take it?" He said, "No." He said, "You're okay. That's fine. You don't need it." And then every year I've gone back to him. He's been like, "If you haven't taken it, don't take it now."
What was this, the 1800s?
Yeah,
I don't know, but I have not been violently ill.
All it takes is getting the flu once, and I think you'll change your.
Well, that's not true. Not violently, like a flu, like a bad flu. Mm-hmm. Haven't had it.
Yeah, I just think once you have it once, if you ever get the flu once,
and if you don't do anything, it's scientifically 11 days. It runs through your system.
We are not licensed medical professionals that do not listen to any of our medical advice. So, let's get back to football.
If I show up next week with bandages all over my head,
let's get back to football instead of vaccine.
All right, anyway, don't stand out in the rain watching football. That's the gist of what we're trying to say. All right, Dan, we have to check in how the Pitt Panthers do.
Well, we were the Pitt Panthers were on bye, so
they did great then.
But big news: first college game day coming on Saturday in I believe 20 years, and the same opponent. I believe it's Pitt Notre Dame.
Yeah,
gonna be I think they're retiring Aaron Donald's number.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was when I was covering the Pitt Panthers. Covered Aaron Donald's draft party. I remember making the very incorrect take that I thought Tyler Boyd was going to be a better NFL player than Aaron Donald because I didn't really understand like what Aaron Donald did in college didn't make sense, and and it was just like a guy that small being able to dominate like that. I was just like, well, that's not going to work in the NFL, and then it turned out he could just do the exact same stuff in the NFL.
Yeah, he was superhuman.
Yeah, so it's like, Tyler Boyd had a pretty solid NFL career himself, so it wasn't the worst take in the world.
Yeah, I think Boyd had a great NFL career. I mean, it's double-digit years for him, and he had some good, really solid years. And,
but I'm excited for college game day going to Pittsburgh. I mean, there's a lot of jokes always about the attendance and everything, but they've already sold out this game. Going to be a lot of Notre Dame fans, but
there's a lot of Notre Dame fans in that part of the
all of a sudden, Pitt's right in the college football playoff mix. Got a lot of Central PA flavor, like we talked about a couple times before on the team. Should be a fun one. I will not be watching because I will be either at a soccer or football game. But
Saturday's championship Saturday.
Yeah,
not for football, but obviously.
We'll see if I'm at a soccer game, depending on how I believe Lower Dauphin does. A couple hours after this podcast is recording girls soccer, but we might have some football games as well.
You got boys and girls soccer. You got field hockey, volleyball, right? Or is volleyball done?
No, I believe volleyball. I think there's some
still
Saturday
kicking.
Volleyball. So it's that busy time of the year where you want to watch college football, but we got bigger fish to fry right now. So,
we do. I just want to mention big Maction win for Eastern Michigan.
You guys did lose to Pitt basketball yesterday, though.
We did lose to Pitt basketball, yes, but we did beat Bowling Green on the football field.
Yeah.
And seeing that it snowed about 4 or 5 inches in Ypsilanti, those people need something to look forward to. And we're not going bowling, obviously.
That's kind of like our warning shot that it's coming. It's coming here soon.
My buddies were texting me. They're like, "It's snowing." I'm like, when are you coming out? I'm like, if it's snowing, I'm not coming out there.
It's November. You need some snow games in college football in November, I think. I think it's the right time.
No, you don't. That's why they play in a dome in Wyoming and Idaho. Anyway, all right, District 3 playoffs. Let's get going here. For the next 20 or so minutes, we're gonna crank out. Talk a little bit about some of the action that unfolded Friday and Saturday this past weekend, and we're going to peek ahead a little bit. We've got semifinal weekend coming up in District 3, 6A, 5A, and 4A, and of course we've got a championship game coming up in 3A as well. those pesky Trinity Shamrocks just keep churning and churning along. So we'll talk about them going up against Berks Catholic in the final. That game, I think, is Northern Lebanon. Is it Elko? It's at Elko.
Yeah, it's at Elko.
It's at Elko on Friday night. So that should be a humdinger.
Yep.
Haven't used that word all year. Humdinger.
Time
we'll
to
get
use
to
it
it
now. This is
the time to bring it out. Exactly. All right, Dan. So let's get to a couple semifinal scores. We're going to start in 6A, of course. Cedar Cliff, tremendous season. I thought overachieving season. We talked about all the high points and obviously some of the standouts for Cedar Cliff. But of course, they ran into Central York, the number 1 seed in 6A, 42-7 final. What's your lasting sort of legacy thought about the Colts?
I mean, you have to keep remembering it. You kind of keep pinching yourself that this is their second year in 6A, and I think you can't really overstate it enough how big that jump is from 5A to 6A. It's just a massive. Like the teams you're facing are just it's just a different level of football, I think. And for them to be able to punch their ticket to the playoffs this year and win their first ever 6A playoff game, that's a big program win. They've got some guys. They've got a decent core comeback. I think they're gonna have to fix that line a little bit. Replace some key loss on that line. Which if any coach I trust to do that, it's gonna be Colin Gillen. He's they always have that line kind of figured out by the end of the year. I'm really excited to see how Jalen Hinton continues to develop.
Yep.
But we talked. I don't think skepticism is the right word about Central York, but we did say it's always tough when they get to the playoffs because they don't really their schedule lightens up a lot during the regular season. They looked like the 1 seed. They looked like the best team in 6A this week. I mean, you can talk about all the talent on Harrisburg, and I still favor Harrisburg to win this bracket. But if you're going off last week's performances, you'd have to say Central York was the belle of the ball.
Yeah, I agree with you. Manheim Township obviously is playing superior football too, 10 in a row for them. And they come in, they took out Hempfield fairly easily, 49-7. The other semifinal in the top half of the bracket, now you're going to get a Wilson Central York battle.
That's the game that I think is going to be tough for Central York.
Yeah, which should be pretty fun to be. We obviously we will not be there because we've got some other commitments. But and the other one was Harrisburg. This was Saturday at Severance Field. Harrisburg 21, Central Dauphin 9. I give the Rams a lot of credit. This could have just been, an absolute another sort of lost season, but they backdoored their way in to districts. Obviously, shut out Cumberland Valley 7-0 in the first round, and then Cumberland had a really, really good showing, and again, the problem with not really having a credible passing game where you can sort of lean on. You're sort of limited against this Harrisburg defense on what you can do. But that said, Peyton Wiley sort of emerged in this one. He had a couple big catches in this one. I think 73, 74 yards. He had CD's touchdown as well. But yeah, I just think Glenn Mack is proud of the way these guys ended. Because like I said, they could have been easily done 2 weeks ago. It was a fraction that got them in. And all those things had to happen in Week 10 for them to slide in. But, again, the power of the Commonwealth Division schedule matters. And I think these guys persevered without a ton of just experience and talent, and that was something that grew over time. But obviously there wasn't a ton of that at Central Dauphin this year.
As someone who was there, what's your kind of take on the Harrisburg game? Because I think from a lot of people on the outside – people who weren't there just kind of following via Twitter, things like that. It looked like a tough game for a game that Harrisburg, I think a lot of people had penciled in to kind of blow out. Is there anything nerve-wracking to you at all about them, or do you think it was just a game where they had opportunities kind of blow them out? And
first and foremost, there was a lot of talking, and I'm not saying there was a lot of talking one way or the other. It was both. It was both teams.
Yeah.
So I'm standing on the sidelines, and it's just. And Harrisburg continued to just beat themselves up. They had 14 penalties, I believe, for 120 or 130 yards in this one. So there were a lot of mistakes there. They generated they had 2 interceptions. Michael Shank was picked off twice. One was definitely his fault. It was kind of a back foot throw and just kind of a haphazard throw it up kind of thing. I just think it's tough for this rushing attack too. Even though you have P.J. Dent and Messiah Mickens. Messiah Mickens did play and played well. Only kind of carried maybe 8, 9, 10 times. But Central Dauphin did a really good job. Their front guys did a really good job of kind of pushing.
They dare you to bounce outside.
Well,
right?
yeah, and it just wasn't there because the holes were sort of collapsing real quick, and Harrisburg runs that sort of zone read kind of rushing attack where you're not up to speed until you get through the line of scrimmage. So Central Dauphin just made it difficult, and they were outsized up front by 40, 50 pounds, I would say easily, overall. But they didn't play like it. Yeah, they didn't play like it.
I just thought, watching this team all year, I've liked the rushing attack a lot. I've liked P.J. Dent. I mean, I was big up in P.J. Dent last year at Cedar Cliff. He was one of my favorite kids to watch last year before he got hurt. And obviously Messiah Mickens is Messiah. But I've always thought in order to get to this team's ceiling, that passing game is going to have to find a way to kind of lock in. You've got to. We've talked about it before. I think we talked about it off air. They got to find ways to get Elias Koch the football because good things happen when Elias Koch gets the football.
It's every time Harrisburg was faced with a 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 9, Elias Koch ran the slant or whatever, or ran a little button, and boom, got the necessary yardage. So that's there.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it's there to Jalen Lewis too. When Jalen Lewis is outside. Now, there was sort of a penalty in the third quarter where Shank was brought out. I don't know if it was on Shank or not. I don't want to say that, but there was a 15-yarder, and Lewis was called in under center. So it was almost like it was. I think Coach Cal might have brought Michael out to sort of explain. Okay, this is what we're gonna. And Lewis took out over under center, and the first play he runs 42 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah.
And that sort of broke it open a little bit. But that's the kind of athlete Lewis is. So I don't think I don't want to say they're better one way or the other. With Shank or Lewis at quarterback, I think both are.
This is the first year in a while that they haven't had a true mobile threat at quarterback, and I think that if you're not going to have that real threat at QB to run for like 30, 40 yards, then you got to start. Yeah, I mean, and when they're operating well, they are doing that. Shank is spreading the ball around.
Yes.
And he throws a beautiful deep ball when he sets his feet and has time to throw, and I think that ceiling of that offense is one that can beat almost any team in the state, but. You can't have these off days when you get to the playoffs, or you're going to be sent home against teams of this quality.
Yeah, I mean you could survive that against a Central Dauphin and maybe a team that is not as potent offensively. Could survive that. Can you survive that kind of effort against a Central York? Probably not.
No.
So maybe not even against Manham Township.
But you do
probably
have to give
not.
credit to the defense.
The defense is still there.
Yeah.
I mean the defense is the hallmark of this football team. We talk about it every week. And I know it's flashy to talk about Elias and this. Well, Elias is obviously a key on defense too. So is Jalen Lewis. So is Trace Walker. So is Kevin Brown.
And they're just so tough on defense.
And again, Rick Brown and Noah Ewell were terrific again. I mean, they really are sort of the unsung heroes of that defense. We don't talk about those guys enough. We don't talk about Dennis enough.
No.
The defensive end on the other side. So. Your guy you mentioned last year, John Paul.
Yeah,
we don't mention him enough. So there's just so many really good
Rick
athletes.
Brown's one of my favorite linebackers to watch. He's just a super.
Rick Brown reminds me of like
he looks like he's an NFL linebacker.
He reminds me of like Ronnie Lott.
Yeah,
I know Lott played safety. But that's the kind of guy he's just kind of a heat-seeking missile.
No, he reminds me a little bit of I'll bring up a Pitt guy a little bit. Because he was a big physical player at Pitt. He reminds me a little bit of Brandon George a little from who played at Berks Catholic a little bit.
Yeah, not the same body type. I think though. No. I think George is a little bit stockier.
Yeah, a little stockier, but in the way they just are seeking get straight downfield, trying to. Stay kind of.
Yeah, Brown hit one guy. He was behind the play.
Yeah.
And somehow made the tackle. I don't know. It was like a 9-foot predator arm.
Yeah.
Just came out of nowhere and tackled the guy. So, yeah, but a really good effort by Central Dauphin. I'm proud of the way they went out, and I think Coach Mack is proud of the way they went out.
I wouldn't say I'm worried about Harrisburg, but it's one of those performances that I think is a good. I think Cal's probably happy that they didn't play their best ahead of their toughest because now he can go into these weeks and be like, hey man, we really got to lock in and kind of fix these mistakes before we get to you want this kind of sort of roughshod offensive game to happen in a Central Dauphin game rather than a Central York
Well,
game.
yeah,
Because you're going
definitely.
home.
I think, though, if you're looking at the tape, if you're Man-Up Township, you're feeling a lot better about your chances, too. That could be dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Well.
You can't overlook this Mannheim game at all.
Right. So, anyway, Man-Up Township at Harrisburg next Saturday, Severance Field, 1 o'clock. That is the district semifinal. All right, let's glance through 5A, Dan. I was at Bishop McDevitt's 47-7 win over Mechanicsburg. Just too much firepower.
It seemed like they were holding on for a little bit, Mechanicsburg, and then
I agree, and it just they got to them. They had a long drive. Mechanicsburg's only score came on a block punt and a recovery by Drake Dawson. Awesome play. It really was an awesome play. Came around the left side, blocked it, and then
got him a Division I offer, right?
Then did that whole crab roll, crab walk, quick to the end zone.
Got him a Division I offer.
It did. We just wrote about him. Yeah, Central Michigan came aboard for his second Division I offer, so he's excited about that. But all in all, 10-2 for the Wildcats. I'm not sure we expected 10-2.
No,
I kind of because of some of the guys they lost.
I kind of figured this game was going to go just because. It's really hard to run on a McDevitt team. Like the way Mechanicsburg has been running on all these opponents, it was always going to be a tall task for them to get 100 yards from Reese Miller and 100 yards from Noah Apple, which is what they seemingly did every week.
Well, that was the key, and too against Shippensburg, they didn't complete a pass.
Yeah,
so it was like if they weren't successful running the football, this was going to get ugly. Because obviously McDevitt has both ends of those covered. Mm-hmm. But a couple big passes, too, by Sebastian Williams, a couple big runs by LaRue, and, of course, Nazir Jones-Davis. And that defense was on point again. I mean, we talk about the LBs. Maurice Barnes and Reinhardt and these guys, and RJ Duffy was terrific in this one. So couple other quarterfinals. New Oxford beat Spring Grove 31-0. New Oxford up big in that one, and Spring Grove came clawing back. But the Colonials got through. Solanco takes out Warwick 56-24. I don't think there's any surprise there. No. This Solanco-New Oxford game might wind up being the best semifinal that we see. I think it's going to be terrific. And, of course, Exeter 41-34 over Conestoga Valley. Exeter was in control of this one throughout, and Conestoga Valley, who came in undefeated, obviously, and ranked 9th in 5A, tried to come all the way back but didn't quite get there. I'll tell you what, Exeter at Bishop McDevitt offers a lot of intrigue for me. Yeah. That's Friday night at Tangio Stadium in a semifinal. The reason I talk a lot about Exeter is because of their toughness. This is a tough football program, top to bottom. And they don't typically make it easy for anybody. I don't care who it is.
And they've got their quarterback back. But again, my kind of issue is, again, it's similar to Mechanicsburg, is I just think you're going to have to be able to move the ball through the air to beat Bishop McDevitt. Because that's kind of their one softer area, I would say. I mean, and it's still not that soft. You got Tyler Reinhardt in the back. But I would say that Chris Thompson does such a good job in the middle of the field for Bishop McDevitt, stopping the run. They've got those heat-seeking linebackers, Maurice Barnes, Zir Jones Davis, Zach Brown. It's just you're going to have to beat them over the top consistently. Because we saw what happened last year. Exeter had Jaden Zandier, one of the best running backs in the state, and basically he got injured in that game, but basically knocked him out early in the game, and they could not move the football. I just think that it's going to have to be a Riley Martinez game for them to keep it close.
Most definitely, yeah, I agree with that. But I'm not going to put it past Exeter, give them a whale of a ball game. I'll be honest with you. All right, so the two semifinals of 5A, you're looking at Solanco and New Oxford on Friday. Of course, New Oxford's still unbeaten, and then Exeter Township at McDevitt, which should be a whale of a ball game. Let's move down to 4A. We had a couple of mid-pen sides in this one, 3 to be exact. Susquehanna Township 50, Elko 13. Torrin Evans just keeps doing things.
This wasn't even this was a game. I covered this game.
Yeah,
it was all respect in the world to Elko. We got our good friend Tommy Mealy, former Bishop McDevitt AD over there. But this game was over within 5 minutes. It was
bus ride.
I believe Elko fumbled their first 3 possessions and all. Torrin Evans is a guy we usually talk about in this game, But this was a Jarrett Kern game.
Yeah.
He scored 3 different ways: fumble recovery touchdown, pick 6, receiving touchdown. And I talked to Joe Heaton after, and he was like, Torrin Evans gets a lot of the headlines, rightfully so. Zykeir Leaks gets a lot of the headlines. Josh Njite, the Temple commit, gets a lot of the headlines. But Jarrett Kern, he said that he's the glue of the team. He's the guy that sets the tone for a lot of these practices. You can tell everyone on that team gravitates around Jarrett. He's just he just embodies kind of what I think, I don't want to say lacking, but what this has kind of separated this group of Susquehanna Township team from other teams, which is smart. They play smart. The level of maturity and intelligence they play with this year, which you'd expect from a group that's really kind of aging into themselves.
Yes.
He brings that. He brings a lot of physicality and toughness. He's a physical and tough receiver. I just think that he's been a huge part of their success.
And the sunshine hair.
Yeah.
Brings him, I mean, it just completes the whole look. Absolutely. No, I agree with you. And we talked a lot about Jarrett Kern. It wasn't, but I did wonder, and this is early in the season, because Zykeir Leaks was being targeted so much, the Genti was obviously into. And of course, Rakai Seville basically stole the headlines for the first 5-6 weeks of the season because of his running. So I was sort of wondering when Kern would sort of break out and have one of those 9 for 180 and 3 TDs.
He might have
sort of things.
He didn't even need it in this game.
No, but I mean, that's the kind of athlete he is, and you almost forget about him playing defense and being a factor too in special teams and all those things. So he's been terrific. So Susquehanna Township moves on, and now they get to host Wyomissing, who took out Lampeter Strasburg 23-6. This was an expected result. Maybe most expected the margin to be a little bit different because of how they throttled them in the regular season. But I think Bob Wolfram probably just did enough to get in and get out, and not basically show a little bit to Hannah. But this is going to be a whale of a ball game too. I'm going to put you on the spot, Dan. Who do you? I mean, you've been talking about Hannah winning a district title, so I'm guessing your pick is the Indians.
Well, I want to. But I've always said I thought, and you've kind of bristled at this, I've always kind of thought that Wyomissing might be a tougher matchup for them this year than Twin Valley, which I know you don't agree with at all.
I don't agree with that at all.
I just think that sort of almost like military level precision Wyomissing plays with is something that's going to give Hannah more problems than kind of the explosive offense and tough defense Twin Valley plays with. But I was really impressed with how Hannah handled. Elko is not the Wyomissing offense, but they do run a kind of triple option, run heavy offense, and the way Hannah played that. I mean, they gave up 150, 200 yards. A lot of it came in the second half, but they were really disciplined playing that, and it was a good warm up game for them. You know what? I think I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to Susquehanna Township.
Well, you know what? If there's anybody who could coach against the wing T, it's Joe Heaton. Joe Heaton ran the wing T at McDevitt. He was in the backfield running the ball in the wing T offense under Tim Rimfel. So it's not like he hasn't faced it before. And of course he's been around too for 20-some years now too. So he's seen it a few times. Middletown being one of them. So I agree with you. I like the way Susquehanna Township is sort of spreading the wealth. I think that's the key against Wyomissing. You can't get sucked into one thing or another, and they've got to play good defense because the misdirection offense can hurt a team like Hannah. So this is going to be all about how they read their keys.
I mean,
because if you don't read your keys correctly,
and
in the wing
it's 21-0 in a blink of an eye,
it's going to be bad news.
Yeah, because my worry with the Wyomissing game is that even if you took out Justice Hardy, which is like he is as talented as anyone on Susquehanna Township. If you took it out, it almost doesn't, like, they're really good at kind of minimizing the talent gap with how that system is just, if you're not on your P's and Q's, it doesn't matter if you're faster than them. It doesn't matter if you're stronger than them.
That's right.
They are going to have a 10 yards of separation on a run, and you're not going to be able to catch them. And that ignores the fact that their offensive line is always really solid. Their defensive line is always really solid. Their linebacker, they always have stable linebackers, and they're always playing their best football this time of year, which it looks like is the case
Right.
once again. So,
And the worst thing for Susquehanna Township is not having their offense on the field. So Wyomissing can sort of control the pace in this ball game. But Wyomissing's it's a little bit different Wyomissing team. These guys are really good skill position wise, and they can hit you hard and fast.
Yeah.
But if you're keeping Torrin Evans off the field, that's a good thing for you.
But I will say though, the one wrinkle here, Wyomissing usually is playing these playoff games on Saturday afternoon, and they're they're idyllic.
The neighborhood.
Yeah. We haven't seen them play a road semifinal game in a while.
Good point.
And
very good point.
It's not like maybe it's not the big. We were just talking before. It's not like college football where a home road split is going to shift a line 5 or 6 points, but it's a change in environment, and it's something that Susquehanna Township is going to have that whole community out there. It's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, it will be. All right, the other semifinal will be West York at Twin Valley Friday night. Twin Valley, of course, remains undefeated. They are the 4A number 1 in the latest rankings by PennLive.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. West York took out Middletown 20-0. I think the outcome was expected. I don't know about shutting Middletown out, but again, I view Middletown's season a lot like I view Cedar Cliff's. I think it was a tremendous season. I think the guys, this senior class sort of really came on and sort of challenged themselves to be a lot better than what I thought most people thought. And they're a fun team to watch. Middletown's a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
So congratulations to J.J. Ortiz, first-year head coach, son, the quarterback, Harrison Ortiz, and all those guys. I enjoyed watching Middletown. I thought it was a hell of a season for them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we expect them to be in the district quarterfinals.
No, I did not.
Not with all the turnover there.
Nope.
And so many question marks. But West York, a little too much for them. That's an experienced West York team. That I'm interested at that Twin Valley. I don't think they're, you have to favor Twin Valley by probably double digits. But that West York defense, is good.
They are. I mean, West York is a talented football team too. I don't want to take anything away from them, but I think, making that long trip, to Elverson or wherever the hell Twin Valley is, it's tough on a Friday night, and this Twin Valley team's just mauling people, and I expect that to continue.
Yeah.
I think it's just a hard climb for West York.
Yeah, it does feel like this Twin Valley team is just really rolling. I think in order. There's going to have to be some turnovers forced. There's going to have to be some.
Yeah, you're going to have to be flawless, and obviously, guys like Drew Engel and the rest of those guys at Twin Valley, you're just going to need to have an off day. I mean, we've seen it happen though. We've seen it happen, and it's certainly not a.
I think we're going to get a great match. I mean, that 4A title game, no matter who it is going to be really interesting.
It should be fun. Yeah. I guess the other,
is that Twin Valley already destroyed Wyomissing.
Right. So I think you'd love to see.
But do you really think is Wyomissing a team that you really think you're going to blow out twice in 1 year?
I don't. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, they're such a winning program.
Yeah,
I think they would figure it out.
I would never count out Wyomissing. And then if Susquehanna Township beats Wyomissing, then you really have to start pricking your ears up and be like, maybe this is a team that. That maybe Dan was right the whole time, and they were for a.
I don't think that's something I'm going to say. I'm not going to say it anyway. Even if it happens, I'm not going to say it.
I'll never get the.
No.
You'll say it was a lucky guess.
You get Pitt. You get your Pitt. 92nd. Throwaway to your alumni. What do they call it?
Alma
mater. And then you'll be fine. All right. We did see Steel High win obviously a 2A championship over Halifax. Again, I think that was sort of expected.
Yeah.
Halifax with a terrific year too, get back on the map, which was
fun reading some Facebook comments saying Steel High should move up to 2A with the championship. I was like, well,
they are 2A.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
The comments were complaining about Steel High winning another district title, saying they should move up to 2A.
Yeah.
And they're like they've moved up and they've won 2 straight 2A. I mean, it's just. We say it a lot. I think when they were winning all the games in the state championships, Andrew Irby got all the credit, and I think since they've moved up to 2A, and it hasn't been pure state title contention, it's just been winning the last 2 district titles.
Right.
I feel like we've kind of fallen, haven't paid as much. We on this program I think have, but I think in the area, you kind of lose track of the job Andrew Irby does year in and year out with this program.
Yeah, I mean, they've won 6 straight district titles.
Yeah.
I mean, and 2 PIAA titles.
Yeah.
No, 3. I'm sorry, 3 PIAA titles.
I mean, he's just been and
they're gonna be, chances are good. No offense to Chestnut Ridge, but I think Steel High will win that game.
Yeah.
So you're going to be in the state quarterfinals in the following week.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been one of the most successful coaches in the state for almost a decade, at this point. Just another great job by this team. I don't think this team. It's not like all the puzzle pieces fit completely together, right? They've kind of had.
That's a good way to put it.
They've kind of had MacGyver, I guess, almost.
Yes.
A team together, and they've done a fantastic job.
Yes, at times they have not made it easy on themselves. But again, it's sort of like it's sort of like me complaining sometimes internally. I don't not out loud because I don't have a dog in the fight. But I think there's at times it would benefit Steel High to huddle up.
Yeah.
To zip some time off the clock, not take sort of unnecessary risks by just pace. And then, but Andrew Irby's explanation is always going to be the same. That's what we do.
Yeah,
that's what we do. And I'm like, okay,
and the results are hard to argue with,
right? And they keep winning,
Yeah.
so it's not like it's not like I'm correct.
Yeah.
So, but I still think because all the kids play both ways.
Yeah.
You're dealing with 26, 30 kids, although still has a little bit more this year.
Mm-hmm.
I would just think, give them a 20-second breather while the play clock runs down. Go set in the huddle. But it's not what they do.
I've just been so impressed by that. I just love watching their tailback, Jerome Ross. He's such a fun running back to watch.
Yeah, and he's got a couple 300-yard games this year, which is, sort of obscene.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I understand there's some talent, teams
One
that are
of them was
struggling.
against Line Mountain.
But one of them was against Line Mountain.
Yeah, it's
who's the third-ranked team in Single A.
Yeah,
so not too shabby. All right, last game we're going to talk about. Then we've got a 3A championship game. Trinity back in the final. They're going to take on Berks Catholic at Elko High School. We mentioned it early in the show. 7:00 Friday, November 14th. We've been talking about Trinity and sort of the maturation process of this team, not necessarily individual players, but I got to see Trinity early in the season. I got to see them late in the season, and the maturity and sort of the experience of guys like Mason Boyer, the quarterback. Maddox Straczynski was sort of there. Mm-hmm. We knew about that kid and the talent that he brought to it, but we were wondered, hey, can Brandon Harris be your featured back?
Looks like he can.
You know what I mean? He can. Marcus Yeager, what kind of versatility is he going to bring? Obviously a lot. Mm-hmm. So, and there's a lot of other good parts on this football team that gets them back into the final. I like their chances against Berks Catholic, and I like Berks Catholic.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this one?
I mean, they've just been as steady as an ox, like every week. Like you kind of know what you're going to get with this team. They're really just super fundamentally sound. They know what they're going to do on offense. They're going to run the ball about 15, 20 times. They're going to throw the ball about 15 times. And then that defense is going to get after you with Marcus Yeager and Sam Mulba and all those guys.
Mulba's been terrific.
Yeah.
Mulba's been just a cog in the middle.
And it's like Mulba's been good in a way that I don't think the stat sheet is necessarily going to reflect it.
Yeah.
But he's been really big for them as well. And I just think, it's just they are a reliable football team at this time of year. Berks Catholic's going to be tough. That's a good football team. That's a good program. I don't have a great read on this one, but Trinity's playing really good football right now.
Yeah, I think if Trinity protects the ball, then I think they can get it done. But you're right. This Berks Catholic team has some heavy hitters. Their defense is pretty good as well. So this could wind up being like a 14-10 game, something like that, or an absolute shootout. Who knows? But it'll be interesting. So that's the lineup, and obviously we got a couple other mid-pen squads toiling in PIAA postseason games. State College is going to take on Wilkes-Barre in what is essentially the 6A round of 16. Little Lions should get it done there, and then it's time for the Whippeal champ, and now obviously we got Line Mountain. We talked about they just squeezed by Montgomery. Tremendous effort by Montgomery.
It's kind of looking like the Line Mountain's injuries are starting to catch up to them a little bit.
Yeah, not Caden Dunkelberger is out, did not play, and obviously Max Johnson has not played since week 4.
It was the Steel High game. It was week 7, so week 6 or week 7. I remember when it happened, it looked like some sort of like pec, like collarbone shoulder injury. The way they were rolling at the start of the year and beating good teams, and now it's squeezing by. It's tough when you're a 1A school. You have key injuries. It's just like you're not. Right. It's not like you're a 100 player roster and you have all these guys to replace kids, and they do a great job replacing because Dunkelberger was doing a great job replacing Max Johnson's production.
Dunkelberger, in the backfield, and obviously now you've sort of turned a little bit more to, QB Caden Morrow obviously can run the ball too. He's got 600 or 700 rushing yards to go along with 2,000 passing yards. But Bryce Meltz and Dalton Shane will become probably the two most important guys for them. Yeah. Because these guys can run on jet sweeps. These guys can get open as wideouts. So it'll be important to see. And Lackawanna Trail is their opponent now. Who's tremendous. Yeah. So that'll be a really heated physical matchup in PIAA 1A. Yep. So, all right, that'll do it for the PA High School Football Report. We appreciate you joining us as always. If you're gonna go out, Mom says put a scarf on so I don't get cold. She lectured me, the sickness. Yeah. Ma, you can't stand in the rain. If I stand in the rain with a scarf, I'm still gonna get cold, right?
The press boxes happen to. It's weird how tighter and less seating the press boxes have when the weather gets colder and.
Exactly.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden you need 4 or 5 people to operate a scoreboard.
Right. Exactly.
It's fascinating.
What are you doing with that camera? Are you streaming? Yeah. No, I'm here with I'm here with the squad.
No room for the press in the press box, but we will overcome.
That's right. We'll overcome. Yeah. All right. For Dan Sostek, I'm Eric Epler. Appreciate you joining us. Come back next week.